Big Houston. Ah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. I am right now turning off the intro so that when I go to Google Earth and come back, my intro doesn't start again. So it's not happening this time. I beat it. I beat the system. Okay. Woo! All right. So today's a weird week. It's the first week of classes, and so this week's good busy for me. So I've got a little show today. I'm hopefully going on with Astro at like 2:30 my time. So I got like an hour and 45 minutes or so. Haven't heard back from him yet as to whether we're doing that. Might be Wednesday if we can't fit in, because I've got school stuff I got to do this evening. Tomorrow is charity day. We're gonna be doing our charity Tuesday tomorrow, and then Fridays will be like late evening shows from now on, because I have day classes that I got to teach on Fridays. So we're mixing up everything everywhere. Yeah. So let me get this microphone in my face. Let's see here. What we got going on? BBIG and BBIG rocketed like in pre-market, and then Metamaterial did really well today. Wells Fargo went in the absolute dumpster. Apparently they're getting sued by the Justice Department. So, and still no word on the debt ceiling vote. Last week they said they're going to try and do it today. I've heard nothing about if Republicans have successfully filibustered, because I don't think they've managed to do anything to bring it to a vote. So a lot of this week's action, and probably, action for the rest of the year, is going to depend upon how successful Republicans are at filibustering, or if the Democrats get rid of the filibuster, which is something that they've been trying to do. And that comes down to, again, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, who are, absolutely weird. Okay, so let us jump into the chat on that update on the news. Oh, there's Cruel Clown telling me to turn off my intro. Thank you. I did it. I remembered this time, which means tomorrow I'll forget. All right. Jordan, is it possible to get an AMC GME pep talk? I mean, you get the pep talk all day long. We have two major stocks that are beloved by their shareholders, and they own hundreds of millions, if not billions, more shares than the actual float. And eventually, those who have shorted the stock and created all these naked shares are going to have to buy them all back. Why? Because they're going to get eviscerated, and they have no choice when that happens. And when it happens, you, me, everyone else are going to make a pile of money, and we're going to either live in the life of luxury, or we're going to become the greatest philanthropists known to man. And there's your brief, 5-sentence pep talk. Okay. Euphoria Morning Houston, can you share your thoughts on Ken Griffin lied? Do you think him and Vlad can somehow dodge this bullet? Cheers, matey. Okay, so Ken Griffin and Vlad can dodge the bullet for as long as they remain rich, probably. It's the minute that their wealth evaporates is when they no longer have the protections that they've had before. They quite literally lied to Congress. They committed perjury. Congress should, if we were a fair system, have them arrested and charged with perjury. They claimed they didn't have any contact with each other. They claimed that Robinhood wasn't facing margin calls when they turned off the buy button. They straight up lied. They lied to Congress in an effort to pass the blame onto retail, when in fact it was their business model and their relationship that did them in on January 28th, and has brought us to where we are today. I mean, heck, if they had let this thing squeeze January 28th, a bunch of people would have made, a couple $1,000s a share, and it would be over. But right now, they're still bleeding billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, putting all their focus on surviving every single day. And now they're gonna be liquidated out of existence when the MOAS happens. So Ken Griffin lied. He's a lying liar, and he should be facing charges for it. That's why we have perjury laws for Congress, and he should be facing charges. So arrest Ken Griffin and charge him. Dan Summit, what's going on with metamaterial today? Beginning of a squeeze? Could metamaterial trigger other stocks to squeeze as well? Start a MOAS. I don't know if metamaterial will reach the heights to trigger MOAS. I think very realistically, it can get to levels at or above where Newegg popped back in June. They hit, I think, $77 as a peak, went from like $4 to $77 in 2 weeks, somewhere around there. Torchlight was shorted like crazy. They were shorted all the way down to 21 cents a share, and that, from the anatomy of a short attack, that means that hundreds of millions, if not billions, of naked shares were generated in order to drive the price of that stock down to, essentially non-existent levels where they're facing being delisted by NASDAQ. Now, when metamaterial and Torchlight merged, there were still exchanges trading Torchlight shares, and you can still apparently buy options on Torchlight shares. So nothing, the QSIP change has not done what it's supposed to do, and we are in a really weird spot where nothing's being covered as far as Torchlight is concerned now that it is metamaterial. And we've got these preferred shares that came out as Torchlight special dividends, and we're still waiting on what is going to happen with those. And by December 31st, they either have to pay us a bunch of cash for those dividends, or they may turn it into special shares in a new oil company that is not traded. So the shorts are probably between a rock and a hard place. Now that companies realize they can do kind of weird dividends, NFTs, preferred shares, special dividends, things like that, I think they know that they can kind of, without blatantly saying it, they can aid retail investors in squeezing these stocks. BBIG popping today apparently has to do with an NFT that they're giving out by October 15th, I think was the date. And so, there's some report that showed they were shorted like 260%. So BBIG, I think, is going to take advantage of these things as well, and I expect their stock to keep climbing. We're in a really weird place that the market has never really been in before, which is if you have shorted a stock, you're screwed. Like everyone is now short hunting. They're going out there looking for anything that's been shorted more than like 20%, and they're buying and holding, and they're just going to squeeze every last stock they possibly can. We've had weird zombie shares popping up. Lehman Brothers climbed 200% today. Lehman Brothers hasn't existed since, October, September 2008? They haven't existed since before. They're the first ones to go. They've existed since like March 2008. So their stock, which should not be trading at all, rose 200%. It is non-existent. Lehman Brothers is in the middle of a squeeze, right? It's a zombie stock. So we are in a really weird place in the market, and the SEC cannot keep letting this happen. I know they're probably waiting for a big giant market correction before they act on anything because they don't want to take the blame for crashing the market. But these guys, stock markets are not supposed to be squeeze central all the time. We're not supposed to be seeing weird random stocks that no one's ever heard of pop from, pennies to tens or hundreds of dollars all as a result of everyone using the internet to go squeeze hunting. And it makes for a really weird investment atmosphere. And to tie that in with all the other precarious places that we are in economically, it's a bad recipe. It's a recipe for disaster overall. I mean, we will benefit personally, us retail investors who are deep into this, but it's not good for the market as a whole. They've got to close these freaking loopholes. They have to stop naked shorting and make the market regulated and valid. There. All right. Okay, we're scrolling. LC, what do you know about moissanite? It looks just like, if not better than real diamond to me. Super cool stone. Moissanite's awesome. It's essentially like the way diamonds get compressed into covalent bonding. It's the silica version of it. So it's pretty much just as hard, and it has just as high of a refractive index. So it's very pretty. It's very, very, very rare as a natural stone. Pretty much all of it is made in labs, but it's gorgeous and it's worth money, and it's very rainbowy. They're pretty cool. Flow 4. Hey Houston, do you believe the U.S. Stock market is worth investing in after MOAS for retail? Not unless the rules change. If they get rid of naked shorting, then yeah, it's worth investing in. If they don't get rid of naked shorting, which will just make this problem happen all over again, then investing in the long-term viability of a company may not be the prudent thing. It may just be everyone invests specifically for squeeze plays, and that is just as bad for the economy overall as entire swaths of our economic system being based upon destroying companies, because you can make more money when you piece them out than you in a short burst than you can over the long term. We can't have a vulture capital system. It's not good for the nation and the world. So something's got to give eventually, and it's going to have to be regulation and enforcement. All right. Okay, there's my Okay, Dre asks, running the risk of sounding like a conspiracy nut, would you agree that it would be in the old guard's interest to suppress new energy technologies? I think it was in the interest of those groups in the past, but now we are on the cusp of the point where they won't be able to do anything about it, because we have a whole bunch of cajillionaires now that are investing in these modern technologies, and that money is they're going to be worth more than the oil companies at some point. So we've got Ford and GM and Volvo and Audi and Porsche and all these groups also investing in electric cars and battery technology, just like Tesla. And we have not only the financial benefit of mass producing these things now, like the cost of solar is just dropping so fast that it's becoming cheaper to do these things. For $10,000-$20,000, you can invest in a solar system, and if you've got if you're in the proper type of state where you can hook up to the grid and get paid for it, you won't. Not only will you not have an energy bill, but in a couple of years you'll pay off the entire system and be making nothing but profit. So, these alternative technologies, I think, are breaking through regardless of what the old guard is trying to do. They successfully held that stuff back for a long time. I mean, just think about 20 years ago, right? You had a pickup truck, a Ford F-150. It could tow things, it could haul things, it could do whatever. Then it got 15 miles to the gallon. Now, these same trucks outfitted with similar engines, all of a sudden, for some reason, are getting 26 or 30 miles per gallon with more horsepower, more torque, higher tow ratings. They can do more for, they're twice as efficient. That technology has existed for a long time. Direct injection, which a lot of these motors use, has existed for a long time, but they didn't really start putting it into cars until after 2008, when gas prices at $4 a gallon for the first time. It's all of a sudden they're like, oh, fine, we'll use this technology we've had for 30 years. We had things like vapor carburetors. My oldest brother built a vapor carburetor for his pickup truck, and it's just this. Basically, you take a vibrator and you in the fuel line as it's coming out of the carburetor and being injected in the engine, it's just shaking the stuff up and aerosolizing it before injecting it in. So you're not getting a liquid fuel, you're getting a highly aerosolized mixed fuel. And he was getting like 100 miles per gallon in this ancient 1970s pickup truck. And the only drawback was every 4,000 or 5,000 miles, he had to put a new vibrator motor in there because that thing would blow itself apart. These, all sorts of crazy technologies like that have existed for a long time. And the oil companies, without a doubt, suppressed a lot of it. But they're getting to the point where they have to release that stuff because they cannot compete with the increasing tech on batteries and electric systems. I mean, once charge times drop significantly, there's going to be no reason to even have a combustion engine other than just to like feel the rumble of the engine and for nostalgia's sake. But if you can get 1,000 miles out of a battery system and you can charge it in a couple minutes or less, then it's no different than when you go to the gas station and fill up at the pump. The big drawbacks right now are folks that have to drive a lot and drive long distances. They cannot rely on battery systems because it'll take them a month across the country. So we're on the cusp of some really radical change with tech, and it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. All right, I'm missing some super chats while I'm yakking away here. Easy E, hey Houston, how does a company need to be profitable to release a non-cash dividend like NFT, like they need for normal dividends? A dividend's a dividend. It can be anything. It could be swag. It could be hats with their logo on it. It could be a fish. It could be all sorts of stuff. So it depends on where the company is registered. Because I think if they're registered in some states, the state requirement for dividends requires that they like not hold debt or they have so many quarters of profitable earnings. It depends on the state, and that goes for anything. So if they want to give out swag as a dividend, they still meet those requirements, I believe. Adrian, he super chats. I tried taking out $1,000 from Robinhood, and it said it was too much money. I think Robinhood doesn't have so much money. Interesting. I haven't tried to take any money out of there in a while. The only things I have in Robinhood are options plays because it's just so much quicker and easier. I'll be honest to buy and sell options in there. So I mean, if my metamaterial options keep printing, I may be where you are, try and take some money out. We'll see. There's no way they win this lawsuit. If anything, they will do a giant structured settlement, and that will be interesting to see what comes of it. There's a lot of big lawsuits that are settling for crazy amounts of money. Like 2 weeks ago, the chicken consortium, the chicken oligarchy, just settled a huge thing. So like anyone who bought chicken since 2008 or something will be getting a check from the chicken oligarchy because they were locked in price fixing and monopoly activities. Like, so they got sued by the government for antitrust, and the chicken lobby is facing some repercussions. And now they're suing the beef lobby for the same thing. So I think we might as regular people all of a sudden be an economy of getting small checks from these giant antitrust violating corporations that just merge and get bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden price fix stuff. I wouldn't doubt if we will see antitrust lawsuits against companies like Lyft and Uber, who priced out taxi cab companies and all of a sudden jacked their prices. It's a classic antitrust violation, and we'll probably all get checks from those companies when they do structured settlements. The structured settlements are coming. Okay. Do. Years for Sears. Brandon T asks, years for Sears, Houston. If the possible special final dividend for holding Sears is based on value of assets, wouldn't that mean it could take years for them to sell off those assets? Yeah, it could. But they may auction or do fire sales. And if they do auctions, then it sells like that. Rather than shopping around with a broker waiting for the perfect price on everything. And yeah, so they had, I think, was it today or is it tomorrow? They've got a bankruptcy hearing coming. One of these days. It's either today or tomorrow, I think, is one of their bankruptcy hearings. So we should get some more news out of what's happening out of the structure of that. What are your thoughts on RC's whiskey tweet yesterday? Oh man, I don't even look at his Twitter. Let's have a look-see. Twitter search Ryan Kuhn. Talk is cheap. It takes money to buy whiskey. I guess he doesn't talk unless there's whiskey involved. I don't know. Anna Rulnick just pops in there. Today was a Sears omnibus hearing. Wonder when we will find anything out. I'm waiting. Let's see here. It's 1:00, so 3:00 on the East Coast. They might be doing the hearing in Chicago because that was where Sears was based, right? So it's like 2, 3, 4, maybe might be 3:00 there. I wonder if pop Sears in there. Go to news. Only news I see is that the last store North Olmsted, wherever that is, just sold for $7.75 million. So there's some cash. And they're closing the last department store in Illinois coming up here on November 14th. So then the only those Sears home stores, which are like franchises, will be the only things that exist after this, and those and repair centers. So there's no news popping up yet as to what the hearing has for us. Yeah. All right. Interesting. All right. So we're getting there. Okay. Oh, Anna Rulnick also gave me a coordinate. So let's go to Google Earth and see what we get. And seen. Google Earth. And paste and go. Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Going to North America. We're going to Milwaukee. So we're zooming. Going there, and we're zooming, and we're zooming. And we're zooming, and we're zooming, and we're zooming, and we're zooming, and we're still zooming, and we're continuing to zoom, and we are now in street view. Okay. Advanced electrical. All right. Anna, where'd you take me? I am somewhere in Milwaukee. And I don't know why I'm here. Why do people take me to the most random places? All right. We're going back. Oh, welcome to Cleveland. Oh, okay. Now I see. Well, is this the place that's in the flight line to the airport? And they do that just to like freak people out? Okay, I think I know what that is. Okay, I get it now. Thank you, Anna. Welcome to Cleveland. Where's the airport? Isn't the airport being here? Shouldn't that be? Where's the airport for Milwaukee? I don't know. Okay. All right, let's go back. and my intro is not going to play because I turned it off. See? I fixed it. You guys aren't getting me this time. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Go back down. Justin Kappa TV, Houston, would you be able to share a reading list of all your favorite books, both fiction and nonfiction? Also list of magazine, newspapers, other periodicals you read. Yeah, I made one of those Goodreads things thinking like, oh, this will give me a link I can share. And there's no link I can share. I don't get it. So I'm going to try to figure out another way of doing a list. Someone said that there's a way I can make like a list, but I can do it as one of those Amazon pages. And just sort of like, just put the links to the books in there. So I might give that a whirl and see if I can do that. Yeah, read, folks. Spend a couple hours a week and crack open a book and sandpaper your brain a little bit. Okay. Braden Wheaton, what are your thoughts on Dr. Burry's vague tweets? Dr. Burry is really paranoid, and he may have reason to be paranoid. I mean, he just got subpoenaed by the government for some reason. But I prefer directness to vagueness. There are some folks like Ryan Cohen, who's an insider, who has to sort of really turn his tweets into little scavenger hunts and riddles because they cannot explicitly say certain things, so they'll be considered insider trading. But Dr. Burry doesn't suffer from those things. He can come out and say he's not an insider in these companies. He can come out and say what he's thinking. So I don't know why he's always so vague. It seems really pointless. Like just say what you mean to say, dude. So the rest of us can figure it out. Josh Pet Pals, Tennessee. Hey, a friend and I spoke about RC's tweet, something about 741, which has to do with 7 tweets in July, 4 tweets in August, and 1 tweet in September. And the numbers match up to bankruptcy law. Happy birthday. All right. And perhaps the countdown. Maybe in October we get an NFT tweet or something. That would be fantastic. David Ha. Hey, Houston, I have metamaterial calls for October 15th. Strike price haven't hit yet. Should I sell? I have a bunch as well, and I'm hoping that metamaterial climbs a bit more before I sell. Namely because a couple weeks ago, my $11 calls had gone up like $2,000 and then went right back down again. And now my $11 calls, even though the price is actually higher than it was before, is only worth like a few cents more than what I paid for them. So come on, $11 calls, print me some money. I want to see a nice big giant spike early, and then I have enough money to get my engine fixed while I'm trying to sue this stupid engine company. Because I want to be able to drive my truck again, because it is my pride and joy. Matt Newton, he super chats. What's your latest best guess on when GME will moon? I think the two big factors, and I talked about this with Hunter Jackson last week, is one, if the Republicans can successfully filibuster the debt ceiling and we default on our debt, then all bets are off. The market is going to get weird, and it's going to get weird in a way that benefits us. And if that doesn't happen, number 2 is probably going to be the NFT dividend and or NFT transformation of the market for or exchange for GameStop, and GameStop moving to loop ring instead of trading through the traditional exchanges. That is going to turn the entire financial world on its head. It's going to require the recall of every single solitary shorted share, and they're going to have to buy everything. They'll have no choice, absolutely none. There cannot be another share left in the traditional exchanges and people's brokerage accounts if it's all moving to the loop ring network, such as what we have been speculating. So that would definitely do it. And it would do it in a way that would be absolutely just cruel and diabolical to the shorts, and I love it. Okay. Did I get all the super chats? I believe I did. Thank you for the super chats. They are most welcome. I am not a cat says there are people on Reddit calling their representatives to ask what they'll be doing about the perjury. Good. As you should. Give your reps a call. Say, hey, these dudes perjured in front of you. What are you going to do about it? I want to see you do something. Hold them to the fire. The quarter jumped up on me a lot faster than I thought, but I still do want to take a trip to DC and do some lobbying in person. Just visit every single solitary rep I possibly can and talk to them about market regulation. I always think, oh, I should be able to have a window in there. I don't start teaching until this time, and then I don't have the window that I think I do, and here I am. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get a DC trip in there. Once I figure out how this quarter is going to go, I might be able to like open up my brain a little bit and pick where I can take a trip for a couple of days. Because I'm not teaching every day during the week. I do have some days where I'm not teaching. I just have to make sure that I get my own papers written for my grad classes. Okay. Crafted Genius, do you think Keith Gill has watched any of your content? I have no idea. Keith Gill, that dude doesn't have to watch anything. He can just stare at a wall all day long and be content that he absolutely changed the world. So, I would love to like poke his brain, have a conversation with him someday. But I am a what they call a niche micro celebrity on the internet at this point. And there's lots of folks who sit in front of a camera talking to their eBay microphone and spout things. And I'm just a regurgitator. He's an original. He's definitely an original. So, I'd be honored if he hopped in to watch my show at some point and asked me a weird question about geology or astrophysics. That would make my day. So, Keith Gill, if you're out there, ask away. Fire away. Ask me something weird. Okay. Carolina Brito. Hi, Houston. Did you lose money on GM call in January? Are you mad? No, I didn't have any calls for GME in January. So no, I didn't lose a dime. Dang it. I just scroll a little bit. Then all of a sudden the stupid feed resets and it just pisses me off. Okay. So there's that one. There's the January question. Okay, we're back. I am not a cat. Houston, thanks for making this a nice, happy corner of the internet. Do you think our brokers will be able to handle the MOAS? Do you have any thoughts on GERC swap theory? Is the GERC swap theory, you're talking about there's several swap theories running out there. There's the debt swaps, where a lot of these guys who are facing T35s trade debts with each other, and then new ownerships get reassigned and it resets for another T35. There's the equity swaps, where market makers print a whole bunch of synthetic shares and sell them, package them up in this equity swap that the proceeds to which are then rented by the short hedge funds, so that no one has to report short interest. It's a sneaky little loophole. So I'm not sure which. I'll have to see what GERC's up to and see which swap is happening. So there's a lot to keep up on. And this time of year, when I'm starting a new quarter, is hard for me to keep up on all the news. Honestly, I still have like a quiz I have to take for the Film Institute, because they have like this COVID protocol quiz that I take before I'm even allowed to come on campus for the quarter, and I have not done that yet, and I have like, I'll do that at like, what, 4 o'clock today? Okay, I'll do that like 4 o'clock today, or otherwise I can't go teach my classes. Adam Johnson, how can we know the number of GME shares exceed the float? People say we own it multiple times over, but how do we know for sure? Well, I mean, for one, Adam, if you look up institutional ownership, institutions alone claim to own 300% of the float. Boom, done. More than the float is owned. Now, if you look at trading data, you will see that people buy and hold GameStop, and they've bought and hold, 1 billion or more shares since January alone. And that's more than the float. Folks, the folks in this chat, the folks on Superstock Stonk, the folks in Wall Street Bets, the folks in finance Twitter, they aren't selling their shares. They're just buying. Whenever they got money, they're buying more. And that's all they've been doing. They've been slowly collecting like little Pokemon cards, every single GME share they can possibly get. So there's obviously more than the float owned just by institutions alone. And the number of shares bought by retail investors is absolutely insane. We're looking at, probably 1 to 4 million or more stockholders in the United States alone that have GME. And most of those folks have, 20 or more shares each, which is beyond the float. We've got statistics done and surveys done that show the nation of Canada owns the float, that the nation of Germany owns the float, that the UK owns the float, and that the United States likely owns, 20 times the float. So we know for sure that more than the float of GameStop is owned. Pepsi or Coke? I will do Mexican Coke all day long. Mexican Coca-Cola is my favorite like weakness. It's my vice. Go to Costco, get myself some real cane sugar Coca-Cola. I love it. Justin Kappa TV, how are non-existent companies like Lehman Brothers still trading after all these years? Can you explain how that works, OTC? Well, the companies are still tied up with a lot of wealth, and because their stock hasn't blinked out of existence yet, and it takes a lot to blink them out of existence for some reason, that a lot of folks, because that stock can get pinned to 0.0001, you can tie up a lot of wealth in it and hold it there, and it's a pretty stable price point. And if the price goes to 0.0002, all of a sudden those folks have made a lot of money. At the same time, if you shorted it and 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 shorted it, which is what happened to Lehman Brothers about 5 days before they actually went bankrupt, then you are still facing a risk that for some reason that stock might get recalled. And there's something weird going on right now with a lot of these zombie stocks and why the price of them are popping like crazy. I don't know exactly where Lehman is trading, but my guess is it probably went to that expert network at the beginning of September, expert exchange that like Sears and Blockbuster and others went to. So whatever's happening in there is something that we can't even see very well, let alone participate in. There's margin calls happening, and folks are having to close positions on stocks that they never wanted to close on. Like nobody ever wanted to close on Lehman Brothers because they wanted Lehman Brothers just to cease to exist. But now they're being forced to close on them, so they have to go out there and find shares and pay them back, and that means they're going to have to pay capital gains on this stuff. Okay. Ed, what are 3 ways the squeeze could fail? My understanding was everyone's selling, community collapse, etc. Yeah, I mean I'm sure that's a way. There might be, there could be a forced government settlement where they say, okay, this is how much you're gonna get for a share. If you don't sell it, you will never get anything more than that, or something like that. if they stop trading. I don't think the government's going to step in that way, because it would be really, 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 really unpopular. I don't think they'll do that. And the shorts could kick the can down the road forever, maybe, and people lose interest and finally just go, "Nah, I'm out." But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is such a hobby for people at this point that they actually enjoy. They find joy in this community and rallying around it and buying and holding. It is like it's a lifestyle for them, and I think that's a very dangerous adversary for the short hedge funds. Is that there's essentially a giant cult built around this, and we are all enjoying ourselves too much, and we like watching the weird YouTubers talk about these things. We like reading about it. We like discussing it with our friends and family. We are a group of weirdos who have found strange happiness in rallying behind a short squeeze. And that's a cultural shift that I think no one ever expected in a million billion years, that GameStop will be the most popular stock ever. Why GameStop of all things? It's such a weird, like, if you were to grab somebody from 5 or 10 years ago and be like, dude, GameStop is the future, they'd be like, what the hell are you talking about, you weirdo? And here we are 9 months into this thing, and GameStop is the future. It is going to revolutionize the way stocks are traded. And we're just, we got a little sliver of it, and we're moving forward. I don't think the shorts can get out of this in the end. That the books have to be balanced eventually, and they're going to get balanced. And so, I don't think they get out of it. I think they pay the price and they vanish. Crafted Genius, favorite video game besides GeoGuessr, of course. Oh man, favorite video game. I liked MDK and MDK2 a lot. Those are really fun and clever and sweet and corny. I like those games a lot. They're 20 plus years old now. What other video games do I like? I've always enjoyed like the Far Cry series. Those were fun. Herc is funny. He's a funny character. I usually like buy one video game a year and play that. It's usually when it gets dark and cold and rainy and it's not quite ski season yet. I'm like, it's dark at 4:00. I'm gonna play some video games, and that's usually what I do. I usually buy a video game. We're almost getting to that time of year, so like in a month I'll probably buy my one video game for the year and play it a whole bunch. But I really haven't played like a true, honest, grade A video game since March or April. When it starts getting light again, I just stop playing video games because I go outside and I do things. So we'll see. I heard new Far Cry is coming out, so maybe the one I'll buy this time around and play that a whole bunch. Yeah. When I was in college, my roommate was #1 in the world in Unreal Tournament. He was the #1 player on planet Earth, the greatest Unreal player ever. And he would go away for a weekend and come back and be like, "Hey, how was your trip to San Diego?" He'd be like, "Sucked. I only got 3rd place. Stupid $25,000. I'd be like, "Cool. I'm eating ramen noodles again because I'm poor." And but we would set up a Quake 3 server in the house, and someone would just yell "headshot," and we'd all like log in. That dude would destroy us, absolutely just annihilate us, and it was so unfair just how easily he could just kill and ravage our dead corpses in that game. But then I would play somebody else, and it was like a walk in the park. It was I remember I played Black Ops. What was it, in 2010, 2011, whenever original Call of Duty Black Ops came out, and I played that quite a bit for a while, and I was ranked in like the top 1,000 in the world briefly. I was like, that's all. I blame it all on my roommate, who is an absolutely incredible first-person player, and he after he graduated, he does like math analysis for a power company now. So I don't think he does professional gaming anymore. But my God, was he good? Okay, Nick Callis, my cat's been begging me to text you his question. Here it is. Meow, meow. Magnetosphere. Or are we screwed? Or is it okay now? Yeah. So the magnetic poles of our globe flip every once in a while. And in the past, they'd flip like every 10 to 60,000 years. They'd flip, north would be south, south would be north, and cool. Well, we've gone a long time. We've gone like 600,000 years since a big flip, which is very rare if you're looking at the geological record. But the poles are migrating quite fast now compared to what they were doing 20, 30 years ago. So they think we may be in line for a flip, which is kind of like, one of those once in a civilization type things. It will screw us? Ooh, well, it's theorized that when the poles flip, there's a moment where our magnetosphere gets really, really weak. And if it gets really, really weak and we face even slight coronal mass ejections from the sun, it could wipe out a whole host of our unprotected, unshielded electronics. It could wipe out satellites. It could, knock out the power grid. It could essentially be like a giant EMP pulse for whatever side of the Earth is facing that coronal mass ejection. And your watches would stop working, your cameras wouldn't work, your phone wouldn't work, and they would just be dead electronics, completely shorted out. So we could face some really weird stuff if the poles shift with the technology we have now being so prevalent. We haven't had a really, 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 really big hit from a coronal mass ejection since the 70s. The Northeast got hit really hard and knocked out a huge chunk of the power grid in like New England and in Canada. It took a couple days for them to fix it. And that was just sort of a glancing blow. We haven't had a real direct hit since I think the 1860s. There's record in Japan of the aurora borealis being visible during the daytime from horizon to horizon in Japan as a result of a huge coronal mass ejection that hit our magnetosphere. And that would be enough. I mean, we didn't have electronics back then, so there was no way for us to know the power of such a hit. But that would be really, it'd be awesome to see. I wouldn't want to be a person with a pacemaker to have that hit, but it'd be really cool to see, and I would be excited. I'd be super excited to see it. Okay, what am I missing here? That was Nick Callis' super chat. Bill M. How can you tell if an institution owns more than 100% of a stock? Talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. Fintel. Morningstar. Let's see if I can bring up a Morningstar report here. Okay, got to click on that. Got to go to Chrome, turn off Google, and let's do Morningstar, Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay. So Morningstar takes like FINRA and Fintel data and to do ownership. Click. So what is, I forgot to look at what their float was. One sec. Let me go back. Go back once. Okay. Bring up my data. Where? Why don't you tell me how many shares there are? Tell me how many shares there are. Tell me how many shares there are. Where is... Why don't you tell me how many shares there are? I have to do math. Market cap is 2.43 billion and the price is $23. I don't do it this way because 2,483,000,000 divided by stock price of 23.77. Okay, so they've got a float of about 100 million shares, or a total 100 million shares. Okay, now we go to ownership. And Okay. So this showing some funds. So we got 10 million here, 7 million there, 4 million there. So just these funds alone, there's 45 million shares owned, which is about half of the total issued shares. Now let's look at institutions. Institutions, we got another 6 million. So we have about 51, 52 million shares owned by institutions and funds. Cool. And oh, sorry. No, wait. I looked at the change amount. Sorry. Current shares, 85 million. Duh. All right. So we have more than the float owned by institutions and funds alone. So funds on this side, we got 45,889,000. And on institutions, we've got 85,239,000. And so if there's 100 million shares issued, we are about 30 million more than that just with funds and institutions. So that right there tells you that Bed Bath & Beyond is overshorted. Uh-oh. So institutions own more than that. Done. Morningstar is pretty quick and easy to look at these things. We can go see what GameStop is doing right now. GME. I haven't looked at this in a while. GameStop Class A. So we got our 73 million or something, 76 million ownership. Here's funds. Funds claim to own 9 million. All right. Institutions claim to own. Oh, this has gone down a lot. They were at 151 million at one point this summer. So we've got right now funds claim to own 29 million, which is half the float. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, earlier this summer it was at like 151 million shares between funds and institutions. So that's gone down quite a bit. So now funds and institutions claim to own half the float because the float's around 50 million, which, still is a large institutional ownership. So, yeah, there you go. All right. Big Houston. Chris Taylor. Hi, Houston. How do you think Evergrande will ultimately play out? They seem done to me, even if they cover current obligations. They can cover, I think, their obligations inside China, but they'll never cover their obligations outside of China. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they are really working hard at figuring out how to pay back people inside China, pay back their investments so that they don't face repercussions of millions and millions of people freaking out and protesting because the Chinese government doesn't want Tiananmen Square type stuff happening. So they'll probably do some weird system where they'll just flat out give property to individual investors. They'll probably, send the executives to prison. And my guess is you'll probably, when the pandemic's over and the bodies exhibit is showcasing in different places around the world, my guess is you're probably looking at Evergrande executives stripped of their skin, showing their muscle tissue, playing volleyball or whatever. So that's they'll be disappeared. But I don't think any outside investors, I don't think folks like BlackRock are going to see a dime. Royal Bank of Canada won't see a dime. Goldman Sachs won't see a dime. HSBC won't see a dime. None of them will. And there may be some sort of insider deal done with the Chinese government. It's like, hey, since you owe us $40 billion, you have to kick something else our way. And we might see some more access to, manufacturing or other aspects of the Chinese economy that they're let in to tinker with and play with, have access to that they didn't have before. But they're not going to see any cash out of it. That's for sure. Okay. Let's make sure. I'm waiting for Astro to message me, see if we're on. I just got to check the messages real quick. And okay, so he says I'm down. So in about 45 minutes, I'm going to try and go on with Astro. So let me just sweet. All right, cool. That's him, and we'll go on there. Let me get back to where I was in the chat. Hi, my name is, gave me coordinates. Okay, and we're in the Northern Hemisphere, where I think that's going to be somewhere near the Midwest, if I'm correct. Let's see. I love when you guys send me coordinates. Paste it, send it. Where are we going? Oh, no, I forgot to turn on Google Earth. There we go. Go. All right, we zoomed in. Oh, shoot, I forgot to look where we're going. Where are we going? High Point, Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay. We're in North Carolina. We're zooming in. 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 We're still zooming in. And Conrad Realtors. There's a stoplight. If I keep going in and go to Street View, do I see anything interesting? Oh, there we go. That is a giant chest of drawers with a couple of socks hanging out. All right, there's an interesting thing. All right, excellent. I like that. There's some big socks. I love when people make weird art. Conrad Realtors. There. Fantastic. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you. I thought when I was in the sky, I was like, that's just a roof. Cool. Thank you. Hi, my name is. That was a good one. All right. Javier HRZ, what's the first thing you will do as soon as you see your MOAS money in your bank account? Probably get my eyes lasered. I would like to stop wearing glasses. Going to the eye doctor and getting glasses is expensive, and I would like to not do it anymore. I'd like to be able to just pop on a pair of sunglasses and still be able to see while protecting my eyeballs from the sunlight. That's probably the most luxurious thing I will do for myself right off the bat. I also want to, like, my mom really wants to do one of those European river cruises with her best friend. So I would gladly send her to do that. My dad's always wanted to see Portugal. So why not take my dad to Portugal? That's one of his dreams. Let's do it. Let's go to Portugal, Dad. What little luxuries? Maybe I'll buy an Earth Roamer. Some other badass four-wheel drive off-road truck so that Monkey Butt and I can, yeah, it's you. It said your name. Can travel the world and smash some rocks and go look for things and visit places. And I've always wanted to sail the Adriatic. Like, nice hot July, rent a sailboat in, Venice and work my way all the way down to Greece or something along the Dalmatian coast. I think that'd be rad. So I would love to do that. Super chat from Chakuseki. How should Kenny G be punished for perjury? Jail? A? Oh, Mayo jail. B, being forced to eat goat curry until he explodes. That'd be heaven, man. He shouldn't be allowed. He shouldn't be allowed to ever have goat curry again. Thoughts on metamaterial this week? Well, goodness, we're past close. I might as well look up and see what the metamaterial is doing here. Click on that. Open that. And what is metamaterial doing? So metamaterial finished at the $6 range. Good for them. And why aren't you updating? You aren't giving me any after hours here. What's the deal? Oh, it flatlined after hours. Okay. So, I mean, it's up 17% today. Not too shabby. Hopefully this is the beginning of something great. We had when it last popped, 2 weeks ago? I think it was while I was in Hawaii. It jumped, went to like $6.15, and then $5 kind of became its floor. Now we jumped, well into sixes, and it stayed. So it looks like we got a nice little $6 floor building, and I appreciate that. which, the price should go up. They've got a lot of things they got to close to even out. So, all right. So what should be Kanji's punishment? He's definitely not. He's not allowed to have goat curry. Although waterboarding him with mayo would be pretty pleasurable. So maybe that. Okay. Aaron Celentine. Hey, Houston, look up the stock FAMI. It has a short interest of 49%, up 12% today, and is a 20-cent stock. Interesting. FAMI. The 20 cents, probably OTC. What did I do with my pen? Oh, there it is. FAMI. Let's see. I'll open up go there. Nope, they're not OTC. They're, looks like NASDAQ. So they had a peak third week of February. They're at $2.21. And then it's been drop ever since. So I don't know anything about them. But they had a peak, a post baby squeeze peak. But yeah, they're at 14% today. But they're down 39% in the last month. So yeah. I wonder if they issued a whole bunch of shares or not. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look deeper on that. See where it's going. Okay. Here I am. Thoughts on research on psychedelics for curing depression and anxiety. Seems like an effective treatment, unlike antidepressants, which give terrible withdrawals. I've read about this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with psilocybin and microdosing LSDs that people in clinical trials have been done with. Seem effective. There's also a crazy study done with psilocybins and basically racist assholes that they gave them psilocybins and all of a sudden they weren't racist assholes anymore. So, heck, if there's a chemical cure to being a racist asshole, I'm all for it, because the other cure is just getting the shit kicked out of them until they don't exist anymore. But yeah, there was a really interesting book. What was that book? My friends Bruce and Bailey had it when I was in college, and I flipped through it, but I didn't have it myself. And it was about, I don't know if it was about MK Ultra or other government experiments with things like LSD, but there was a crazy experiment where these scientists would give some sort of web making spider different drugs, alcohol, sugar, cocaine, LSD, and then would photograph the type of webs they would make. And the LSD webs were just like, whoa, compared to everything else. They were just like these like works of art. They were unlike anything. I wonder if I can find a picture of that. Okay, I click on that. I'm going to go back to there. I'm going to turn off the Google Earth. And we're going to go, maybe I can find it. Spider web on LSD. Okay. Probably images. All right. So, yeah, they like gave drugs to these things. Is this it? So, as a normal web, chloral hydrate, marijuana, ecstasy, LSD, caffeine. So, LSD one's kind of zoomed in. I want to see a zoomed out one of the LSD one. Here we go. That's not as good an image. You guys can't see that in your screen. How do I make, I want something big. Show me something big. There's drawings. So, yeah. This is drawings of the web. But caffeine, they can't make a functional web in any way. LSD, it looks like they've got complete ADD when that happens. Weird studies, man. Like, who thought, like, I'm going to give a spider some drugs and see what kind of web they make. They even gave him benzos. Like, poor little spider brain. They only have like 4 neurons to begin with. That's it's such a weird scientific thing to do. Okay, about 99 Ninjas, Super Chats. Can you explain for my spouse how much AMC and GME could go up? I know you get this a lot, but she doesn't believe me. Thanks, you rock. Okay, so the quick rundown of how this short squeeze play works out is we have hedge funds that make money off of seeing stocks get obliterated. So ideally, under a short position, a hedge fund would go out and they would borrow shares from an institution or a fund, say, hey, I want to borrow 1 million of your shares. And so you borrow them, and then they sell them, and they collect the cash. And their bet is that the price of that stock is going to go down, and then they go back out in the market after the stock price has gone down. They buy up the stock, they give the shares back to the institution they borrowed them from, and then they keep the profits. They keep the difference, whatever that difference is. And that's how shorting was supposed to work. Then came along the short attack. And the short attack is they don't borrow those shares anymore. They just create counterfeit ones and flood the market with those. And they just drop the price incredibly by diluting the float of the stock. And by doing that and dropping that price down, retail investors then panic, go, oh my God, the price is collapsing. And then they sell their stock as well to get out before it drops too far and then drops the price even more. And the goal of these hedge funds is to drive the price down to zero till the stock is non-existent. And if that happens, then they never have to go into the market and buy back the shares to replace anything that they borrowed, because who cares? The stock's bankrupt. It doesn't exist anymore. And they get to keep all that money as 100% profit and not have to pay any capital gains taxes on it. It is the ultimate loophole. Now, what can happen is that if a stock that's been shorted all of a sudden goes up in price, the folks who shorted that stock can be squeezed, meaning they get forced to go out in the market, buy the stock back at a premium because they have to repay those loans, right? And they pretty much, the people who own that stock can, theoretically name their price if it's shorted enough. And with AMC and GME, what we have is we've got a stock that's not just 20% shorted. It might be 2,000% shorted, maybe even more. And the people who hold these stocks don't have to sell if they don't want to. So they can name their own price, and the price can go to a theoretical infinity as a result if these guys get squeezed. Now, had they let the squeeze play out back in January, we probably would have seen the stock price in the thousands of dollars a share, and it would be over. But because they pissed everyone off with their shenanigans, now folks are saying $1 million a share, $10 million a share, $50 million a share. And some of them will probably get it. The shorts, when they get liquidated, have to close positions, and they have to buy the stock back at any price. And I'm sure people will be like, I'm happy with $10,000 a share or whatever, but there'll be a lot of folks who own several times the float altogether and will refuse to sell, and that price is going to go absolutely bonkers. So yes, that is the gist of this entire play. And if you take an intro to finance class, you learn about short selling, and they talk about this theoretical risk of this infinite risk involved with short selling, that if you get squeezed and people don't want to sell you anything, that price can go to infinity. And yeah, that's where we are. We are in a point where everybody who owns the stock could very likely be multimillionaires several times over and be totally content with the rest of their lives with that kind of wealth. Okay, I missed another super chat while I was yik-yakking there. Who'd I miss? Michael Z. Please explain TMC's process of getting and processing polymetallic nodules found on the seafloor of the Pacific Ocean. Is this a thing that can scale? Oh, goodness. So these nodules form, how exactly is it they form? They look like these weird little like boogers. Manganese nodules. So, oops, I don't have you on scene here. So they look like these weird kind of boogery little rocks, and manganese is fairly water soluble, so it can percolate out of sandstones and things like that. These nodules get formed, and there can be lots of them. So like this is a whole bed of these manganese nodules, and essentially you just have a big machine that goes down there and scoops them up, and that's how you get them. Now, there hasn't really been a super effective way at doing it at cost yet. There's been lots of investment. There's been investment in this stuff for 50, 60 years trying to figure out excellent ways to get these manganese nodules. One of the biggest operations ever was the Glomar Explorer. And I talked about this on one of my shows about glomaring, which is when the CIA says, I can neither confirm nor deny. That's called glomaring. And it's a way of not acknowledging an operation. So, was it Howard Hughes and the CIA worked together, and Howard Hughes commissioned this ship, the Glomar Explorer, to go out and collect these manganese nodules. And that was what the whole investment scheme was. That's all this was. And they built this big kind of weird crane ship that would go out, and we can look up the Glomar Explorer here. Glomar Explorer. So this is the Glomar Explorer. This is a big ship that Howard Hughes built with the CIA. And they claimed they were going out to collect manganese nodules, but really what they went to do was to go salvage a sunken Soviet nuclear submarine that had imploded and sank. And they managed to pick up half of it because they wanted to know, they wanted the technology. They wanted the reactor technology. They wanted to know what the silent propellers looked like and other things that they didn't have access to. And so it was a huge public-private partnership of international spying to go out there and actually get this nuclear submarine off the floor of the ocean. And when it was revealed that it was this crazy scheme, that's when someone questioned the CIA, like, "Hey, are you involved in trying to pick a submarine off the floor of the ocean?" And the CIA said, "I can neither confirm nor deny." And so that's where the term glomaring, to glomar, came from. And it was all set upon this manganese nodule mining thing. So the process is pretty straightforward. You go down there and you scoop them up, and you got the manganese nodules. I think they kind of like little snowballs, and they roll around the ocean floor and collect more and more manganese that gets percolated out of the oceanic rock. So, yeah. I think the Glomar was recently scrapped. Not too long ago. I've never seen that in the news. Oops, go to news. Yeah, sold for scrap 2015. So, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, the Glomar Explorer. There you go. That's how you get manganese nodules. If you go to the Southwest and you go to Utah or Arizona or something, you go to Grand Canyon, you will see the Navajo sandstone. The Navajo sandstone is this bright red. Let me go back to images. Go to Navajo sandstone. Okay. So that's, you guys are showing, that's not Navajo sandstone. Show me a good, that's still not Navajo sandstone. You guys are not showing. All right. Oh my God, this is the worst images in the entire world. You guys are so bad at this. Here we go. All right. I don't know how well you can see this. You see these black streaks coming off here? This is manganese that's basically percolating out of this rock. So when there's rainfall and water gets absorbed inside the rock, it sweats out this manganese. And so this stuff is really rich in manganese. So this is a great way to go find manganese out in the wild, is to look for, go to Utah and Arizona and Nevada and find Navajo sandstone, and you'll see these black streaks come out. And that's sort of oxidation of this manganese that's been bled out of there. Yeah. Okay. Go back to Big Houston. Jump in here. It's 2 o'clock. I got half an hour until I'm going to try and jump on with Astro and have a chit chat. Go back up. Scroll back up. Scroll back up. Boop-a-doo. Oh, sorry. Trying to find to figure out where I was in the questions. I might have been like I'm already like half an hour behind in the questions here. Yeah, Super Steve is thinking anyone who relies on a pacemaker is a goner. I mean, if you can't be in a room with a microwave, coronal mass ejection is going to be real rough for you. Yeah. Yeah, B says, did you see Big's short interest? TDA shows 260%. Holy moly. Yeah, I think with the price action we saw today is just the beginning of that. That's basically where GameStop was during the baby squeeze in January. Is that these hedge funds had gotten so confident that they were shorting this thing with the naked shares that they actually started borrowing them and shorting those as well, trying to drive the price down even more. And that was just cocky of them. So the short interest report went through the roof. It seems like BBIG may be facing the same thing right now, and they may have checkmate in their dividend they're giving on the 15th. So yeah, Nick Callis, super chats. What do you think of China's military ambitions? Will they invade Taiwan, war with India, U.S., Japan? No, I think they'll saber rattle, but they'll probably do clandestine operations. China needs to remain viable for big companies to send their manufacturing there. And if they're getting in war with the U.S., then all of a sudden trade isn't going to happen with the U.S., and we're China's biggest customer. And if they get in the war with Japan, trade's not going to happen with China. They're going to lose out on tons and tons and tons and tons of money, and they're going to have swaths of their population that won't have work to do anymore. And the manufacturing centers will move out of China to elsewhere. They'll move to Bangladesh. They'll move to Africa. They'll move to South America. And so we'll see manufacturing leave China. China will rattle those sabers all day long, but I don't think they'll do any full scale invasions. Like they definitely wouldn't be invading India. Things may change if India and Japan successfully elbow China out of the helium-3 market on the moon, because India and Japan have made a consortium. They're a partnership now, racing China to the moon. And then we've got Jeff Bezos racing NASA because he didn't win the lunar lander contracts, which was really stupid of NASA. I mean, Jeff Bezos offered to pay for the whole thing. And they're like, no, we're going to pay Elon Musk. So Jeff Bezos now is in a space race with his own government to get back to the moon. It's gonna be interesting. It'd be interesting. I don't think China would actually invade those nations or us or Japan, simply because they couldn't afford to do it. Okay. Mark Tran, he says, Houston, could you describe what happened with Newegg squeeze? Yeah, I didn't see it coming until it happened, because I didn't know about Newegg was merging. So when companies merge, you got one company over here, another company over here. They both have their stocks trading under different QSIPs, and when they merge, they will make, whatever company that got absorbed those shares will become part of, say, Newegg, and the QSIP will change. The QSIP will change for both of those previous stocks into a new version of Newegg, and that can force recalls of shares that were lent out or synthetics that were generated, and they've got to go out and they got to buy those things out to close those positions. So the stock price went to like $77. Let's see here. It's Neg, right? Yeah, Newegg. Okay. Whoops, let's go there. All right, so Newegg's trading at $14 and change. Year to date, so we had a spike June 7th, $67 was its close, but I think there was I think it hit $77, $79 was its 52-week high. So there was a merger sometime at the end of April, I believe, and the merger happened, and not much, and all of a sudden all these shares got recalled. And between June 29th and July 7th, we had the stock price go from $10 to $79 essentially at the peak, because there was a whole bunch of forced buying to close out positions. So that's basically what happened, and that's what we're waiting to hear about with Metamaterial and Torchlight merger. Is that there should be, as a result of all the shorting that happened with Torchlight, there should be some sort of spike in price that's similar to that. Yeah, and they shorted like crazy while the merger was happening. The price on Metamaterial went to $21 from like what 87 cents or something earlier in the year, and so there was a little squeeze that happened because they were shorting the stock like crazy when the price got high. So there's shares out there there's like 100 and something million failure to delivers that we had this summer on Metamaterial alone. So that doesn't even count all the failure to delivers for 5-10 years on Torchlight. So there you go. There's a brief explanation. Naked's going up too. Naked. I saw Naked was popping. Let me just have a quick little look see here. Oops, open you up. Wrong one. I want to scroll. Scroll me to Naked. Where are you? Naked. Oh, Naked's 88 cents. Holy smokes! I should have bought some. So in the last week, they've gone from 50 cents, 55 cents to 88 cents. Not too bad. In the after hours, it's just screaming. So, goodness gracious, up 21% today. No, 29% or so today. Crazy. Good job, Naked Brands. Naked announced something that they may have found a merger, so they might be going through this whole thing also. So a lot of these stocks are realizing, hey, if I can get my CUSIP change happen, you're gonna see probably reverse splits, mergers to get their CUSIPs to change. And we're going to see lots of stocks utilizing this new environment where people are hunting shorts to their advantage. Rav Frog, how do you pay taxes when you cannot withdraw the money from your brokerage right away? Do you have to pay on the money you reinvest as well? Yes. Well, it has to do with how much, like what you invested throughout that year, that calendar year, and how much you got back. So that's kind of the basis of it. Now, you won't be paying taxes immediately. You will file your taxes and you'll get some sort of tax statement about how much you owe. And you have until, depending on if you defer your taxes to September 15th or something to pay it all the following year. And so you might have to withdraw, here and there to get that money out. So yeah. If you create a family fund or you create an LLC of some kind that's a holdings company, then all of a sudden you can buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell. And it's seen as the investment is in the holding company, not in the individual stocks that you're trading. So there's little loopholes you can do. I don't have my shit together enough to form those type of things, but a lot of those, like Archegos was one of those family funds that did that. So they were not a hedge fund with outside investors. They were an investor of like one family, and they could do it. They faced a lot of tax loopholes in doing those things. So yeah, but definitely talk to an accountant. Go talk to a CPA and a tax lawyer, and make sure you are on the up and up with everything, because there's no reason you should go to prison and not enjoy your wins. Kiwi, on Morningstar, our funds and institutions totals just the top 20. That's what you're saying? I think it is just the top 20. Let's check out the short interest for BGFV. BGFV short interest. I don't know what BGFV is. Big Five. All right. Where am I gonna? Short interest ratio. This is from Market Beat. No, I don't want to sign up for anything. 45%? Is that what? Huh. This says 45% here. Short percent of float, 45.27%. Short interest ratio, days to cover 5.9. Looks like Big Five Sporting Goods is now. These guys hit a lot of brick and mortar stores. They hit those brick and mortars hard, and yeah. So my guess is like every brick and mortar out there has been facing getting shorted like this because these short hedge funds think no one's ever going to go inside a store ever again. But you know, if your kid needs a athletic cup to play soccer or whatever, you aren't going to sit and wait. If like he's got practice right now and needs to have one, you're going to go to Big Five and go get one. You broke a baseball bat, you need to go to Big Five and buy one right now. Their shoes are ridiculously cheap because they get the ones that didn't sell, and you need a pair of tennis shoes. You don't really care if they're the hippest style. You're going to go get them for like $19 at Big Five. So Big Five as a business model, I think, is pretty solid. You want cheap camping gear? Big Five. You want cheap guns? Big Five. So I don't think Big Five is going anywhere. Oh, Bullish gave me a thing here. Google Earth. Bing. Okay, click on that screen. Let's do a Bullish. Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Looks like we are Western United States in the desert. Is that where those coordinates are? Here we go. There's the desert. Oh, San Diego? Oh, yeah. This is the Coronado Navy building. Yeah, that was an unfortunate design. I can't believe somebody approved that. That is absolutely awful. Yeah. So, Navy base in Coronado. That was like military housing that was designed as a swastika, and absolutely awful. Very terrible design. I can't believe somebody approved that. It looked at the blueprint, went, yeah, we'll put that in there. Ugh. Stupid. Stupid. Okay. Nobody Z says I had laser eye surgery. It was awesome. Yeah, I see the deals come up like, hey, $199 an eye, but I don't know if I want to like get the guy who's I'm clipping coupons to go get my eyes lasered. Like, my eyes are pretty important to me. I want to go with the person that isn't a cheap son of a bitch. And that's what I'm gonna shoot for. Okay. Helder Silva is in Portugal. Your dad will love it. Excellent. Gotta go there some way. And Dow says, drinks waiting for us in Germany. Fantastic. It's been a while since I've been in Germany. It's been a long time since I've been in Germany. Almost 20 years. Dang. It'll be 20 years this fall since the last time I was in Germany. Oh, sorry, this coming spring. Been to Switzerland a lot because my friends that live there. So I'm going to Switzerland again in January to go skiing. So if people want to go skiing in Switzerland, I'll be in Cloisters Davos. And I'll be in Zermatt too because I think my Icon Pass works in Zermatt. So I'm going to head over there and do some skiing there too. Okay. Sub has the boss asked, has anyone tried goat curry? Oh man, goat curry is delicious. Yes, if you haven't tried it, try it. Oh, Bullish gave me another one here. Hopefully not another swastika. I don't want to look at swastikas. Give something fun, Bullish. Oh, didn't like that one. Why didn't you like that one? How come you're not working? Well, that one's not working. It's telling me no. So sorry, Bullish. That one's not working. Okay. Oops. Did I miss a super chat there? I got that one. I got that one. I got that. I don't think I missed any. I think I got them. I think I got them all. I think I got all the super chats. Did they give the spider mayo? I'd love to see what a spider on mayo would do. Carolina Brito. Hi Houston, can you explain options? When are you in the money and you exercise it? Do you get the shares and some money? Do you still keep the shares? There's different ways. Okay, so options are making a bet that a stock is going to go up or down. So a call is betting the stock is going to go up. A put is betting the stock is going to go down. Now, you are purchasing the right to a contract of 100 shares with an option. So let's say we got metamaterial trading at $6 and you're bullish on metamaterial. So you think it might go to $7. It might go above $7. So you say, hey, I'm going to pay you a bunch of money, $2 a share or whatever for 100 shares at $7 because I think the price is going to go well above $7. And so you pay your, $250 or whatever to this person, and now you've got the rights to this contract. And the contract expires a month or two away, say like November 19th. And you got this contract for $7 for metamaterial for November 19th, and the price you paid at $250 a share, if the price starts climbing and metamaterial gets to $6.50, it might be now the contract might cost $3 a share because the implied volatility is going up, and therefore the bet is paying out for you. So you have the option of selling that and collecting that profit, selling that contract to somebody else and collecting that profit, or you can hold on to it hoping that it's going to cross $7 and then some. So you won't make money on it until it reaches, say, $9.50 a share because you paid that $2.50 premium, right? So whatever that premium is, you need to get that stock price a couple of dollars above that before you can make profit on exercising it. But you can make profit on selling that contract to somebody else, and that's what people call like printing. They're all my contracts are printing right now. I just realized I'm still in small Houston. Back to big Houston, so you can, depending on your brokerage may require you have the cash in your account to exercise those options, or you can sometimes do, I think it's called exercise to close, and I believe Robinhood and a couple others offer to do it, where if you want to exercise your contract, what you can do is get the strike prices and the money and whatnot, is that you can exercise the contract. Robinhood will collect those 100 shares. They will sell off whatever's needed to basically purchase the rest of the shares in that. So let's say this one of those instances where you got a $7 contract, but the stock price went to like $20, and so now you can buy those shares for $7 each and sell them for $20. So you can actually have Robinhood sell off some of those shares to guarantee the rest of the purchase for you if you didn't have the cash in your account, and that would be an exercise to close situation. So you can either get cash, you can be like, hey, sell them all. Sell all 100 shares and collect the cash off of that and just pay Robinhood the difference that it costs them to get them for $7 each, or you can get the shares themselves out of it. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. That's the easiest way I can describe it. Options are something that you kind of have to like start messing with yourself to really fully understand how all that stuff works, but do not mess around with the expensive ones. Ones that are like pennies. Play with those first until you feel comfortable. That way you aren't investing more than you're comfortable with, and you aren't going to get hosed on a bad bet because you don't quite know what you're doing. Robert Pierport, Houston, have you ever tried camel milk? I have not. I haven't really been anywhere where there's camels yet. I hope to go see the Persian Gulf someday. I've been to North Africa, but where I was in North Africa wasn't really a camel type place, so I didn't really get any experience with camel's milk. Jay Sean Mead, you should start a podcast. Well, this is kind of a podcast, I guess. I've just been really bad at uploading the audio to I have stuff on Podbean, but I have been really bad at uploading everything, and I forget to hit the record button. So then I have to go onto YouTube and download my own videos, and then yeah, and then convert it to audio. It just takes forever. I need a producer is what I need. I need you guys to get me like another 20 or 30,000 subscribers, and then I can afford to have a producer to do all this crap for me, and life will be grand. Okay, Nathan98, Houston, have you ever heard of the Headington Shark? No, I have not. But you gave me some coordinates, so let's see where we're going. Search. We're going somewhere. We're going over here. We're going there. We're going right there. Do-do-do-do-do. From above, that just looks like a building. But Wikipedia says Headington Shark. So maybe if we keep zooming in, we'll get ourselves a street view. Wonk. All right, that side's not interesting. Nor is that side. Hey, dude, what's up? We got an ambulance. We got, there we go. There's a Headington Shark. I'd never heard of that before. There we go. We have a shark inside a building there. Is the ambulance there to treat the shark or treat the person the shark fell on? There, South Central. I'm from South Central. Huh. Well, there you go. There's Headington. The Headington Shark. I love weird art. Thank you for that one. That's a good one. All right. Exit. Oh, there's the shadow of the shark. I can see the shadow right there. I get it. Fantastic. That's a good one, Nathan. Thank you. Sound 507 sound. If we can't get an accounting of synthetic shares, how can we expect them to cover them? Well, the brokers know, and the institutions that lent them out know, and the DTCC know. We might not have access to that information, but there's a lot of big institutions that do, and they want their money too. So, yeah, that's how that's Embez. I think that's what we're counting on. Oh no, sorry, Embez, who is 507 sound. Embez, I'm just hearing all the Ken Griffin news. What's your take on it? Ken Griffin should be charged with perjury, and so should Vlad. Vlad should be charged with perjury too. He lied to Congress as well. Charge him. Okay, my Schwarzsmith chat just reset again. All right. Okay, I got a few minutes and then I got to get off so I can go jump on with Astro on his channel. So, did he send me a message back yet? Let me make sure. Send me a link. Last one, send me a link. Click that. Go there. I might be on Discord. I have no idea how to do that. So, never done it before. Okay. So it might be a little bit until I figure out how to get on Astro's channel. How do I get on the Discord? Because I have no idea how to do that from here. Because you guys know me and my technology. I am garbage. Felix just saw a meteor. Right on. So when I was in college, I did tours up in Mauna Kea for like star tours for tourists, and I'd be facing a group of like 50 tourists, pointing out things in the sky to them, and then I'd be looking at them and I'd see all their like light just light up their entire faces. They go, "Ooh," and they turn around and there's nothing there. Or it'd be the opposite. I'd be looking over the crowd of people and my face would light up. I go, "Oh, shooting star," and then the 50 people would turn around and there'd be nothing there. Every single time. Josh Young super chats. If all meme stocks are part of the MOAS, then why buy GME, the most expensive one? Why not buy shares of a cheaper meme stock? Can't secure equals POAI. I'm not sure what that means. You can. It's just that more folks have bought into GME and are refusing to hold and are more organized. And the short short interest is probably many, 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 many times higher than the other stocks. So I do think that a lot of positions are being closed on some of the cheaper stocks slowly, because they just can't afford to close positions on GameStop right now to focus on what happens when GameStop goes puny pop. Once they finish closing out the smaller positions, or getting close to closing out those smaller positions at cheaper prices, there's a reason why GameStop spiked more than everyone else. It's because it's been the focus and is relatively small float compared to everything else. And yeah, so GameStop I think is the big play. Everything else is just a satellite to GameStop's gravity well. All right. Yeah, I don't know if you guys talk about computer share here a little bit. I talked about last week that if you want to sell in computer share, it can be pretty rough. Yeah, you can set limits and you can sell for small amounts, but if you want to sell more than $100,000 of a security in computer share, you literally have to write them a letter signing it that, yes, I am doing this, I'm verifying who I am, and I want to sell this stuff. And it can take weeks to get that stuff sold. So if the stock price is at millions of dollars a share for GameStop, you're not going to be able to sell in computer share. You just won't. You're going to miss the entire MOAS. But what will happen is your shares will be kept in there as an infinity pool and won't be able to be closed out, while other folks who aren't in computer share will be selling their stocks for cajillions of dollars. So that's the big drawback of computer share, and why I'm not going to bother transferring in there, because I don't want to deal with. I have this stock because I want to sell it. I do want to sell it, but I would want to sell it for bajillions of dollars, and not for chump change. And I won't have that opportunity if my stocks are tied up in computer share, because I'll have to, get a pen and paper, write them a letter, sign it, verify who I am, send it in to them. A couple days later, they get it, and then they, do whatever they do, and it can take days or weeks to get those shares sold, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. Okay. All right, I got to get going here, so I'm going to do one more quick question if I can see it. All right. Stefan says, hey, allegedly 9 million FTDs on GameStop today. Whoa, I have not seen the FTD list. When the FTD list come out? We should see one for the first half of September here soon. Come out. I don't know. It usually takes a couple weeks for the FTDs to start popping up from the SEC FTD list. But that'd be crazy if there's 9 million FTDs on today alone. Yeah. So yeah, that could be a catalyst. Definitely. Okay. All right, folks. I'm going to try and figure out how to get onto Astro's channel. And I'm going to catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow is Charity Day. We're going to be doing charity, raising money to help the blind and vision impaired. So jump in, be super generous tomorrow. It'll be grateful to help a lot of folks who could use it. So yeah, I'll catch you for Charity Day tomorrow, sometime around 12:30 Pacific, and catch you on the flip side. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you on Astro channel if I can figure out how to get on there.